Hey y'all, name's Daniel. Uh, Today I'm just going to be talking about my slash 4x4 build. Um, I decided to throw an 8 scale motor in it. I got a really good deal on one and wanted to throw it in something kind of crazy. I've seen builds out there 6S slashes. Mine's not going to be as crazy. This one's only going to be 4S. Just going to talk about what I've done to it, what parts I've thrown on it, and any modifications I've had to make. And also, I'll be finishing up the build. Got this RPM ESC cage for the Mamba X. This giant wing from the Jado 4x4 is the part number. This is a little different from the sledge wing. I thought it looked a little nicer, but that's all up to personal preference. A little bit about it. It's got Mod 1 gears in it. I have a 32 tooth spur from the Slayer 4x4. It's made for the Slayer 4x4. It's not actually from Traxxas. And then I got a 28 tooth pinion on it. It's got Jado front and rear tires and the Jado wing mount. There's no wing on it right now. Previous upgrades I've had, this started life out as a brush slash, so a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff has been upgraded. RPM front bulkhead, Traxxas heavy duty arms, the tie rods from the, I think it's either the VXL or the Ultimate. It's got Techno drive shafts, metal hexes on those drive shafts, aluminum shock gaps, hot racing steering bell cranks right here. Eco Power, I think it's the WP 110T in there. Same on the rear. The diffs are on the brush ones are actually different from the brushless. The VXL one, they have a 3.9. It's like 9.1 or 9.2 reduction compared to the VXL's like 2.8 something, I think. And then other than that, it's pretty stock. Oh, and then RPM front bumper. I have the RPM rear bumper. I just think this looks a little nicer for this specifically. Um, to install the Jado front and rear towers, it's a little it's a little harder to do. The front one bolted up straight on if you're not using this little metal roll cage thing. The rear ones, the everything mounts backwards, so let me zoom in on that so you can see a little better. Um, so let me just hold this up. So everything actually bolts up backwards here. So this whole shock tower, it's like angled backwards. It's kind of weird. Let me readjust that. So you'll have to flip everything around. I had to actually flip the A arms around as well. You can see this is actually facing the wrong way. So that's something to keep in mind. If you were to go for a build that's kind of similar to this, you're going to have to flip everything around. It kind of does some weird stuff to the geometry of the tie rod ends as well, the camber links. So that's something to keep an eye out for. You can see it's kind of angled here. This A-armor's bent from sitting on my shelf for too long, so I need to replace that. That's besides the point. So if you do a build like this, you'll need to just do some jerry rigging. It'll fit mostly without modification. To run this specific inner roll cage, the hot racing one, I think might have the same issue. This is just a cheap Amazon one I got for 25 bucks. It'll fit with the stock slash shock towers, but since the rear towers are swept back on the Jado towers, you'll have to do some jerry rigging. So all the way up here, zoom in on that. Come on. I know you want to focus. There we are. So originally the stock mounting plate mounts to these two holes, this one right here and this one right here, but since the rear shock tower sits further back, I have to move this up a hole. And also the Jado front towers don't have body mounts, obviously it's a buggy, so you'll have to drill and kind of make your own sort of mounting points. I had to trim, let me set this here. So I had to trim these little reinforcement tabs. There's one right here, Let me move the focus point. Here we are. So I had to cut off this little bit for this inner reinforcement point, and I used a lock nut and then drilled a hole through the actual shock tower. And so that's how that mounts. I don't think it should go anywhere. It feels pretty sturdy to me. That's about it. Oh, for the Mod 1 gears, I forgot to mention too, you'll have to trim the motor mount. I don't think I have an extra one on me, but it doesn't really want to fit into otherwise if you don't trim it. So you can kind of see the gears peeking through here. I'm going to go ahead and pop the cover off so I can show you what it looks like on the inside. And for this little gear cover, I also had to do some trimming, so that's something to keep in mind. I just had to lop off, sorry, let me move the focus again. I had to lop off this whole end part here and give the gear some space to work. So use the stock slipper clutch. You can use the slipper clutch eliminator. I think it'll make fitment a little bit easier. So you can kind of see the Mod 1 gears in there. So let me readjust the camera. Is this a better angle? Yeah. So you can see here, there's the gears. I haven't actually run this yet. I'm not completely done with it. I'm still getting everything fitted. So there's this bottom tab somewhere right here. You'll need to trim that off if you want to run this giant of a Mod 1 pinion in a 10 scale. Other than that, it bolts up nicely. I have an aluminum motor mount coming because I don't think the plastic one will be friendly to the gears. It probably will flex under all the load and torque and strip the gears. So I'm just going to do a 3S shakedown run when I do, and then I'll save the 4S for when after I get the metal motor mount. And again, you'll have to trim this tab. I don't think you can really see it, but it's all the way down there. It interferes with this gear spinning. So, and that's about it for all the cutting you have to do. It's actually pretty straightforward. I think this is like the largest. The 28 and 31 is about the largest you can use with the stock chassis without actually cutting into the chassis part right here. Oh, and I actually did have to file down the inner tub a little bit. I actually have one with me. So let me get this focused. So this is a spare chassis I have on hand. So the motor mount, the part that bolts right here, you'll have to trim that off of the actual motor mount that attaches. And then for the actual chassis itself, you have to trim about, say, like half a millimeter on this little surface here to allow the gears to spin freely. I don't know how that'll hold up. I think it might flex and still hit the chassis, but since it's plastic, I'm not too worried. Yeah, so that's about it for the actual build. This is my first giant motors in something, so pretty excited to give this a try. So I'm just going to be wrenching on it, getting this Castle Mamba X mounted. Oh, before I mentioned the motor specs, it's the Surpass Hobby 4076 2000 kV motor. Only good to, up to 4S. I don't think it'll do 6S, but it'll probably run for a little bit. I don't think it's recommended. Got this thing used on eBay. Came with this giant fan. It's really noisy. It's kind of fun though. So just going to be mounting up the ESC cage, getting everything locked up. Where's the screw from? Here. So here's the bits that I'll be using. Here's the part number. You can see if you need it. So I'm just using some flush cutters. This one's a little broken, but to get the parts off the sprue. Oh, missed. There we go. Nice and clean cut. And same thing for the other side. Alright, so that's the bits cut out. So grab this little top piece here. It looks like this everything fishes through here. You kind of have to fold the wires like really flush. Let me adjust this. and then you can kind of fit everything on, because one of the holding tabs presses up against the wire and can catch it if you're not careful. It doesn't actually let the cage sit flush. There we go. That fits nicely. You see everything is good around here. So the bottom part goes on here. Let's see. So these look like they're for the chassis, and then these two are for the cage. And then it's a 2mm hex, so pretty standard. And before I forget, I'm gonna put the gear cover back on. You could probably go without this, to be honest. I just thought it made it look a little nicer with the gear cover. There we go. Tightened. And let me get this ESC cage installed. If you are installing one of these cages and you see these small screws, it's a 1.3mm bit or driver you'll need. So this is going to go in here, and let's see what holes it mounts up to. I think, what holes? These right here. Oh, these are slightly off. So apparently my camera overheated and I didn't realize. So yeah, so I've gotten some stuff done while the camera was off. Got the receiver box all buttoned up. Added zip tie here, just cleaned the cables up, tucked some of the sensor wires and motor fan wires from the ESC that I don't need. This is a sensorless motor. And I started on the rear wing when I realized the camera was dead. So I'm going to go ahead and finish that up and screw that together. It's kind of a pain in the ass because it's a lot of plastic we're threading into. So I'll talk about the gearing while I'm doing this. So I used the speed calculator online. And on 3S, this thing should do about 60 miles an hour. I mean, that implies perfect conditions, so it's probably closer to 55. And on 4S, it is theoretically able to hit 79, 80 miles an hour, probably closer to 75 in the real world. And for tires, so how do I cover this? I have a package from A-Main that got some tires to have fun with. So just gonna crack this box open. I forgot what I ordered, to be honest. I think it was just tires. Oh shit. Alright, well, don't mind that. So I got some GRP these. I think it's like their medium compound. Yeah, soft medium compound. I got the gray wheels because I thought it might fit this build. So we'll see. Here's what this bad boy's gonna look like. It looks pretty sick. This thing is mainly probably gonna be used as a street basher. That's the whole reason why I built it out like this. Sorry, just a minor cut. Went to grab the hexes, the shitty adapters I had on hand. I got some nicer adapters that are like the Traxxas ones, but those aren't here yet. These adapters are essentially a step up from 12 to 17 millimeters, and it uses this washer to hold the wheel in place. I tried to use these on some buggy tires, but there wasn't enough offset, so it looked really bad. So I just pop these into the wheel, and then this just goes here. Looks nice and pretty. Probably won't be pretty anymore after I run it into a wall or something, but hopefully that won't happen. And do these on by hand. that looks pretty good. I wasn't sure how this was gonna look with this giant wing, but I mean, it's kind of still large. I might get a smaller one. I mean, it does look pretty neat. All that works. Steering. Doesn't look like anything's gonna hit, so. Well, maybe actually. I don't know if you can see it. When the suspension travels up, the inner part of this wheel right here hits the bottom part of the suspension arm. I think this will look a lot better with a wider offset, so I'll probably end up using those other adapters that I get in the mail, whenever that is. So I'm going to put these all on by hand, and then I'm going to use a power tool to tighten them up. Okay, that's all put together. Looks pretty sweet. Yeah, it does need a slightly wider offset, or it needs to be widened a little bit because it's a little narrow, but it looks pretty sweet. Let me go get some of my bits and sockets to tighten this bad boy up. I'm going to go a little tighter because there's no nylock. So that's one. Need to rotate the car and get the other one. And the last one. Right. All the wheels are on. And I'm going to do a quick test. So here's the battery I'm going to be using. It's the Gen Z bashing LiPo. It's the only one I have with EC or IC5 connector on it. So I'll give that bad boy a try. I did test these electronics before I put them in here, and it was all working. So hopefully, fingers crossed, everything works. Let me get the controller. Oh, one of my lights died. Well, I guess it's perfect timing because I'm about to wrap the video up. So flip the controller on, flip this on. As you can hear, this loud fan. Looks like that should go pretty good. I don't know if you can see in the video, but this shaft here was shaking pretty good. Oh. I was accidentally murdering my helping hands. I was wondering what that sound was. Alright, looks like that should go pretty good. Gonna make a running video, but for now, yeah, this is my build. It's all completed. I'm gonna turn this off. It's all completed. Took a decent amount of time for everything to come in. Yeah, it turned out pretty good. I like how it looks. These wheels look pretty promising. So yeah, I'll make an update video when I'm done with everything. Hopefully you guys watch it. Yeah, and thanks for watching.